Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show. Today is January the 8th, and there are 4 games in the NBA for today. We'll go through those. Quick recap of yesterday. Man, I sent it out to the members like maybe 10 minutes before tip-off last night. I was like, just a little overwhelmed. And I kind of talked about it on the show yesterday, too. I was trying to go through every single game, trying to, find a bunch of plays. I ended up saying, you know what? I'm going to just make a little 2-leg parlay and just live with the results. And the results was a winner. We just took 2 teams on the second leg of back-to-backs that probably needed to bounce back. So the Lakers, this was before LeBron got ruled out. I figured he wasn't going to play. Spurs line had moved already, so took the Spurs on the money line. They ended up winning and covering. And then the other leg of that parlay was who did I take with the Spurs? Oh, the Phoenix Suns. Ja Morant and Jared Jackson Jr. were listed as questionable at the time, but they had played really hard the night before and beat the Spurs. So Spurs and Phoenix money line parlay was a winner yesterday. 1-0 day yesterday, and try to stay hot, man. Try to stay hot. There is a bet that I made already today. I got a couple more that I may end up putting a little bit on, and haven't really dove too deep into player props, but I like to find one that really stands out, maybe even 2. So let's jump into it. It's a couple situational spots. Lines moved already, but kind of is what it is. Let's get into it for today. Hopefully you guys were able to make some money as well. Prolific says he says, good morning, Chris. Went 1-0 yesterday. Was involved in that rock fight with the Nets and Magic. He says that was bad, but the Magic got the dub. Yeah, that was one of the craziest games I've seen from a finishing perspective. Bunch of potential game winners. I was tweeting about it last night, end up, who was it? Paulo. I think Paulo ended up hitting the game winner. I watched so much basketball last night. I can't remember how the game even ended, but I think Paulo hit the game winner last night after. I thought, a couple other game winners had already been hit. But, I'm glad I wasn't involved in that game. Magic probably should have covered. I think they ended up winning by 1, so they didn't cover it. But they did get the win last night. And we talked about how easy it looked to take Brooklyn last night as well. What's up, Locke? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Taylor. Brian says, good morning, Chris. He said, I was on San Antonio and Phoenix. Good job yesterday, Milwaukee. Glenn Rivers, man. Last 4 possessions yesterday, 3 empty. Just a horrible coach. I didn't even stay up for a majority of that game between Golden State and Milwaukee. But I did wake up this morning and see Steph hit the game, not a game winner, but like the late dagger 3 and did the night celebration. Vaughn says took the Spurs on the spread ladder all the way up to 14. I was really confident in them. It was a good play. Good play. At halftime, it didn't look too appealing. I think they were up by like 3 or 4, but they got the job done. Fly Zero says crazy day. Had live bet Denver money line and Magic at the last minute for a crazy parlay. Nice. I like that. I was kind of kicking myself. I didn't bet the under. I had a lot of things. I was looking through some trends yesterday. I had a lot of trends on Denver and Boston under just because, based on pace, Denver last game of a 7-game road trip. Boston offense just kind of let them down late. When them threes not falling, Boston not the same team, but they've been shooting it well recently. All right, let's jump into it for today. We start with JaXon, AI Sports Betting Tool, linked in the description as it always is. JaXon went 2-0 yesterday. Excuse me. Knicks minus the 4.5 was a winner against the Clippers, and New Orleans and Atlanta under the 245.5 was an easy winner last night as well. Total just a tad bit too high for all the offense that New Orleans was missing, even though Atlanta has not been playing a ton of defense in Atlanta. I like Knicks early. That didn't come to fruition. I'm glad I didn't stay off of it. I also thought that game was going to go under. And the Clippers, man, really can't trust them. They gave up 72 points in the second half. So that game did go over the total. I think I had under on my short list yesterday. So back to the same prompt for today. I asked JaXon for the best spread bet and total bet per cleaning the glass data. And asked JaXon to provide detailed analysis. JaXon's on a nice little heater right now. Been actually cooking. JaXon been cooking. So JaXon likes Charlotte minus the 3.5. I don't think I can play this, but it says the Hornets are 13-24. They host the Indiana Pacers that are 6-31. In a matchup where efficiency metrics highlight a massive gulf between the two squads. While Charlotte has been inconsistent, Indiana is currently mirrored in an offensive and defensive collapse that makes them a prime target for a spread bet. Efficiency breakdown. So the Hornets currently boast the 11th best offensive rating, 115.4, driven by high volume 3-point shooting, 5th in attempts, and elite corner 3 accuracy, 4th at 42.3%. This creates a nightmare matchup for Indiana defense that ranks 24th in defensive rating and struggles significantly to contain perimeter threats. Excuse me. So the most glaring matchup in this game is Indiana's league worst effective field goal percentage at 51.3%. The Pacers have struggled to find any rhythm, ranking 29th in offensive rating, 28th in expected wins. News reports indicate that the Pacers' rotation has been in flux, leading to a lack of chemistry that has resulted in a minus 9.6 point differential, which is the third worst in the NBA. Charlotte, meanwhile, is a top-tier rebounding team, ranking second in total rebound percentage at 52.8 and fourth in offensive rebound percentage at 32.3. This allows them to generate second chance opportunities against the Indiana team that ranks 21st in defensive rebounding, with the Hornets playing at home and possessing a significantly higher expected win total, 16.5 versus 8.7. They are well positioned to cover this small spread against a Pacers team that has lost 31 games already this season. So that's the first look. The second look, and I put this on the short list. I didn't bet it quite yet, but I think I am going to get to this one as well. So the total, this is a total bet between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. JaXon likes the under 243. I'm not sure where the 243 is available at, but JaXon sees a 243 somewhere. I don't see it that high. I see it as high as 240. It looks like, and I think I might get in on this right now. I was thinking about this yesterday. So it says the Miami Heat are the most disciplined defensive unit in the league when it comes to avoiding fouls. They rank first in personal fouls allowed at 18.9, first in free throw rate allowed at 18.7. This discipline is the cornerstone of their fourth-ranked defensive rating, which is a 111.8, while they play at the fastest pace in the NBA, 104.83. Their ability to force teams into contested looks into the half court often keeps their scores lower than expected. So the primary driver in the under is the lack of offensive efficiency for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls rank 23rd in offensive rating, 113, and 22nd in points per possession. While they play fast, they struggle to score efficiently in transition, ranking 28th in transition efficiency. Miami's defense is elite at transition recovery, ranking 11th in transition frequency allowed. Furthermore, news surrounding the Bulls highlight their continued struggle without their primary playmaker to settle the offense in high-pressure situation. Miami ranks fourth in defense. Miami's fourth-ranked defense is perfectly suited to exploit Chicago's 14th ranked turnover percentage. Historically, when these two teams meet, Miami's ability to dictate more control, half court pace in the second half has consistently driven games under the total, with Miami ranking third in half court defensive points allowed at 93.6. Clearing a 243 total will require an outlier shooting performance that the data does not support. So JaXon likes under. It looks like Bet Rivers has this number at minus 124 at 243. It is popping down now though. It's continuing to drop. You can get a 240 right now on Bally Bet. I may lock that in, man. I do think that I was looking last night. I saw this at 241, and I was like, that's a little too high for my opinion, with the way Chicago's been struggling. So let's jump into the games, man. Those are the two looks for JaXon. Links in the description. Let's get through these 2 games, through these 4 games and get out of here. So first up, we got the Pacers. They will be at home again today. They are laying 3.5 points on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Indiana Pacers come in. It looks like the injury report is it's clean as it normally is. No Benedict Mathurin, no Obi Toppin, Isaiah Jackson continue to be out. On the Charlotte Hornets side of things, I was listening to Charles Lee after the game last night. So Charlotte's coming off second leg of back-to-back. Terrible spot for them. 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th, and 5th and 7. I wrote it in my notes to, just to continue to fade these teams. Teams that are playing 5 games in 7 nights this season are only covering 35% of the time. So it does say that you fade the Charlotte Hornets, but how can you get to the Pacers? This team has been so bad recently. It's a game that I want nothing to do with as far as spread goes. Probably should have got there with the total last night. It opened at 233.5. It is down to 231. And I was just kind of waiting for it to move because I was thinking it would move that way. I didn't play it, but it has dropped a ton. I agree with that. The only reason I didn't play the total is because Brandon Miller was downgraded to out yesterday with a knee injury, right before the game started. All day he wasn't even on injury report. And if he comes back and plays on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course, that's going to help Charlotte out offensively. And this total may even jump back up. So I'm not sure if Brandon Miller will play. Going back to what I was saying right before, I did look into Charles Lee talking about after the game, Melo wasn't on the floor doing some crunch time minutes last night. He ended up finishing the game, but he missed it. He was trying to get him in and out. And he did say that, they were already thinking about the game, trying to manage the minutes a little bit for the starters. So they didn't play too heavy minutes. So I guess I say all that to say, I guess that LaMelo does play. I think that he will play on the second leg of back-to-back. You got a Pacers team that comes in here. They've lost 14. I think it's 14 in a row. 14 or 15 games in a row. I can't remember. It's the longest streak in franchise history. And the Charlotte team that is undefeated ATS on the second leg of back-to-backs. They're 7-0 against the number when they're playing the rest of this season. But again, like I said, this is not just a back-to-back. It's 5th and 7. I was gonna fade them if they had beat Toronto last night. But Emmanuel quickly called game in that spot last night. So I'm kind of off of this game. What I wrote in my notes was under, and I'll just give you guys what I wrote. I wrote Charlotte 6-1 to the under when they're playing the rest of this season to go along with that 7-0 ATS. Indiana offense takes a lot of their shots in two places, which is both the mid-range and in the paint. They're not a great three-point shooting team, of course. Charlotte is actually top 10 over the last 2 weeks in both shot zones that Indiana likes to shoot the ball in. Indiana is also the worst offense in the league, second worst offense in the last 5 games. They really struggle to score the basketball. Even if they start, really, really hot, their offense always tends to cool down. And I kind of I look at the pace. Indiana is playing with a little bit of pace, but their offense is so inefficient. So I kind of think it goes under, and the market agrees. Under 230, it looks like 231, and 231 and a half is the best number you can get right now. That's my thought process on this game. Didn't really think about it too much from a player prop perspective. A part of me kind of wants to go back to Aaron Nesmith. We took his 3-point prop the other day against the Cleveland Cavaliers when they were at home. And it's a spot where I could kind of see Aaron Nesmith is going to get the minutes because Benedict Mather hasn't been playing. I'm not going to go through the whole recap of the play that I talked about. But that one to me made a ton of sense. So the way Charlotte plays, they give up a ton of threes as well. Remember, I had Emmanuel quickly over his 2.5 threes, and he shot the ball really terrible from the 3-point line yesterday. That game winner did get him up and over to 2.5 though, and 3 was plus money yesterday. So I kind of feel like you want to take the player that's going to take a bunch of threes, and for a team that's playing 5th and 7, we may not see Charlotte's best offensive performance in this game. So I say all that to say, probably a look towards Andy Smith again. I think he can. I think he can get some shots up. This Charlotte defense is not great, specifically against 3-point. They'll give up some threes. So that's my thought process. He has been shooting them. He shot 3 for 7, 5 for 11, 3 for 6, 3 for 11. So 2.5. Looks like the best number you can get is -130, -125 on BetMGM. Maybe that's the way I would look in that game. All right, let's keep going. Go through the comments real quick. We'll move on to the next game. Brian says, why Clippers? New York at home is such a monster. Head covering. Clippers got me again. I don't really want to bait. I told you guys yesterday, I think it was the Knicks were 8-0 against the spread when they were coming off a loss by 20 points or more over the last 2 years. So I wasn't playing the Knicks at home yesterday. I thought that they would come out with a little bit of vengeance early, and they didn't do that either. Fly says, how you feel about the Trae Young news? I feel like Washington, they're building. They're definitely building. I think Wizards got some dogs. They just got to get some more exposure. And from a Wizards perspective, they did kind of change management recently. Everything that I was reading about it sounds like they, definitely made the most. They got a bunch of draft picks from trading Jordan Poole. For trading Bradley Beal. And ever since they've been trading Bradley Beal, things have been going, really good for them. And they didn't have to give up any picks either. So, Washington's going to be a team that, eventually they will bounce back. A couple years, they get some good player development coaches over there, which they may have already. But, I think the Wizards won the trade for sure. Getting the older CJ McCollum, in my opinion, not going to do so much. This is how I think about it. Let's see. Do we get back-to-back today? I think so, Brian. I like the Bulls team total under, Chris. I can understand that. Lock. What up, Vario? He says, what up, Chris and chat? It's today, the day Rick gets 1,000 wins. Hornets have a good record on back-to-backs. I'm conflicted. Pacers +4. I'm staying off of it. He mentioned it. I mentioned it already. He said Hornets 7-0 ATS on no rest. I did look into that. Bulls team total under 115, -105. Lock says Charlotte can only look Hornets if they get hot from 3. It's over for Indiana. So Frankie, appreciate you for joining in, my brother. He says I get to join live from the crib. I'll try to contribute something. Appreciate that. Dom's Pacers first quarter spread got to be an auto bet at this point. They literally disappear after the first quarter, especially on the road, and that has been true. They did cover the first quarter. They'd be winning. Like you can take them on the money line, and then as the game goes on, their offense gets worse and worse. In this spot, it could be the opposite though. Let's see. What's up, J man? Appreciate you for tapping in. It's under 231. For me, Markel says I like Trey. I think Trey's gonna be traded again from the Wizards. My theory, he really don't want to be in Washington. I think he's gonna get paid in Washington. I think the expectations is not to win right now, so you take that off his shoulders as well. And I think he'll stay there. Okay, I do think so. What's up, Fred? He says they said AD going to DC, and I'm liking the uni in Chicago, the under in Chicago. Okay. I saw AD could potentially go to Atlanta, but I was thinking about it last night. If you're Atlanta, do you really want like AD? I'm not even being funny. You want AD and Porzingis to be the bigs that you have? Like, I guess you would get rid of Porzingis. I'm not sure. Like this illness that Porzingis has is serious. Like it is serious. It's something that's I think is pretty rare. When I was reading about it a couple weeks ago as well. So, like I'm not sure how long. Like if he's going to like make a full recovery from that. Like, because remember it happened last year in the playoffs. Against the Knicks, he was out, and then they, he thought he had cleared it, and the summer was fine. Now it's kind of come back. I forgot even what it's called, but yeah, I'm not sure, man. Let's see. You think Pascal gets his points? Pascal's been hooping. It's all about. Let's see what Pascal scores though. Pascal scores. Yeah, Pascal should get busy in this game. He scores 50% of his points, less than 10% from the rim, and another 30% of his points comes via pull-up. And the Hornets are bottom 10 in both. So yeah, 25.5 is a steep number though. Pascal hasn't hit that, but 6 times in the last 20 games. So it's a high number, but it's probably high for a reason. I'll probably bet on Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith. Taylor says Hornets are 7-0. So a lot of sharp guys in the chat. I wasn't the only person with this trend. 7-0 ATS, no rest. I believe they've only been a favorite once or in those situations. I think it was 3 times. When I looked into it last night, Taylor, I think it was 3 times they were a favorite when they were unrested. Don't think I wrote it down though. Let's see. Yeah, no, you're right. 1-0. Yeah, they beat the Wizards in this spot. And they was coming off a loss in that game as well. We said that would be the ill towers in Atlanta. That's funny. Man. The man says you ain't got no 2-leg under trend. Nah, not right now. I don't got anything. I do like the under in this game, but like I said, Brandon Miller news kind of keeps me off of it. Their offense will look a lot better with him being back, in my opinion. All right, let's move to the next one. Cavs and Timberwolves. All right, so we look at the injury report. I think it's pretty clean. Jalen Tyson listed as probable. No Strus, of course. No Dean Wade. He's out. And Larry Nance Jr. is questionable. And Minnesota just have Terrence Shannon Jr. on the report, which he's been there for a while. So this line yesterday was at 4, and Cleveland's taking all the money, down to 2.5. Total open, I wrote 238 in my notes. It's up to 240, 240.5 at a couple books. And so that's what we got there. So Cleveland, I'm looking into the game. Cleveland, we know has not been a good road team on the season. They're 5-11 against the number on the road, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. They beat the Pacers on the road the other day without Donovan Mitchell, but didn't cover that number either. And you got a Minnesota team that, I know that they've been covering recently. Like they have won 3 straight. They've covered all 3. Remember they beat Miami in Miami after losing to Atlanta on New Year's Day. They went to DC the next day, beat them by 30. Then they had a day off. Miami came to town 2 nights ago. They smoked Miami again. So they have won all 3 and they've covered all 3, all by double digits. But they're still 8-11 against the spread at home. I don't really want the Minnesota Timberwolves in this spot. I do think that, the way Cleveland is playing, Cleveland needs a pretty good, like a nice confidence boost and win like this against a really good team, in my opinion. They kind of need to put the league on notice. You only got 4 games. It's probably a primetime game. I'm not sure where this game's going to be played at, like as far as like TV station, but it sets up to be the best game on the board for today. I guess I kind of agree with the money coming in, man. I'm probably gonna stay away from the game as far as this side goes. Like I just kind of see it going both ways. Minnesota could get hot from the 3-point line, and we know that the Cleveland Cavaliers, they bleed 3-pointers. So that's the only thing that kind of kept me off the total. I kind of like the under more than anything else. Looking through the games and looking through the metrics yesterday, Timberwolves are when they're favorites of 5 or less at home, when they typically play, like up to competition. If they're laying points, you don't want to touch them. But if they're favorites of 5 points or less, they're actually 12-4 to the under this season. And when the total is greater than 235 and they're favorites by 5 or less, they're 5-0 to the under this season. It's typically a spot where they play, some pretty good defense. Minnesota's also the 4th best defense on the season. They're actually first in their last 5 games as well. Cleveland, not the greatest defense on the season, but recently they've been playing good. They're second in defensive efficiency last 5 games, top 8 in opponent points allowed in their last 5 games as well. The other thing I like when I was looking into this is Minnesota also top 10 defensively guarding the 3-point line. We know Cleveland just wants to chuck a bunch of threes. So if we could get Cleveland to come to the party on the defensive end from the 3-point line, I do think this is a game that's going to be played a little bit slower. Like I was looking at the pace numbers yesterday and last night, and Minnesota has been playing a little bit faster, which is interesting to me. I think it has something to do with like their opponents, because on the season, I'm gonna just give you guys the numbers real quick. On the season, Minnesota's not a fast-paced team. They're very when their games go over, it's because they shoot efficiently from the 3-point line. Both of these teams really just want to jack up a bunch of threes. I think that's pretty clear. But when Minnesota games go over, it's typically because they shoot the 3-point shot really, really well. So let me just give you guys the numbers real quick. I noted that last 5 games they are one of the faster-paced teams. Let's see. So Minnesota last 5 games, 15th in pace. At home, they're 2nd in pace. And Cleveland's also 7th in. Hold on. No, yeah, I'm tripping. That they hadn't updated. Okay. So Minnesota is 4th in pace in their last 5 games. And Cleveland is 9th in pace in their last 5 games. Like I said, Cleveland is 5th in defensive rating. Minnesota is 4th in defensive rating. At home, they're 3rd in defensive rating. So you really just need them to come to the party on the defensive end. I think this game could stay under. I do. That's the way I kind of think about it. If Cleveland can guard the 3-point line. And I feel like recently when I was looking into it, I didn't write it down. Recently, Cleveland has been doing a better job of guarding the 3-point line. So just put some numbers to that real quick. Cleveland on the season, they're the second worst 3-point defense in the NBA, allowing teams to shoot 38%. But last 5 games, they are no better, 28th. Allow teams to shoot 40%. So teams to shoot even better. That bodes itself to like a maybe a Dante DiVincenzo 3-point prop, maybe a Naz Reid 3-point prop. He's somebody that's been like on fire recently. Also shouldn't be a lot of second chance opportunities. Both of these teams are don't grab any second chance points. Cleveland doesn't get out and run in transition a lot. Minnesota also not a team that gets out and run in transition either. So yeah, I lean under, but I didn't play it. That's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Lowe says Rick Carlisle is stuck at 999 career wins. He gets it today. Okay. Okay. Don says love the Cavs here. Give me Minnie in the under. Minnesota money line at under for J-Man. That one says Cleveland will slow the game down. If they are up, can they do that to the Timberwolves? Fire says, and is it going Wolves money line? This game, I'm pretty sure this. Like I didn't even look into it last night. I'm pretty sure it's a national televised game, right? Gotta be. It's not. The Heat and the Bulls come on NBA TV tonight. That's the national televised game. Yeah, I just think when you get Minnesota, like at home, I don't really like playing Minnesota off a loss. Off a win either. Like they have not been consistent, but I think they'll get up for this game. I'm gonna just look at one more thing real quick. I'm gonna just look at the Timberwolves. and in their home games, favorite, and they only projected to win by less than 5. And I looked at this already, and I want to see non-conference games, see if they get up for the East like they get up for the West. Because if it was OKC, we know it'd be a thing. So this season, when the Timberwolves are home favorites, land less than 2 possessions, less than 5 points against non-conference opponents. They're 6-1 straight up, 2-5 against the spread. So they haven't been covering these numbers. Oh, hold on. No, I did this wrong. My fault. Hold on. Let me start over. Oh, first time all season that the Timberwolves have been this short of a against the East. So they're like 7 or less. They laid 6 to the Celtics. They beat them, didn't cover, and they laid 5.5 in their last game actually against the Miami Heat, and they won and covered that number. That did go under. So yeah, there you go. Last season, this happened just one time. They played against the Knicks. They were laying 3.5, lost their game outright, and then covered the number. It went over the total. So yeah, they're not a short home favorite against the Eastern Conference frequently. That's interesting. Let's see. What up, Blunt? He says Timberwolves built their team for defense, and now we see a 240 total. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, Blunt. Timberwolves off a win, and they're a home favorite, 11-14 against the number. Yeah, this is the thing that scares me. So Timberwolves off a win, home favorite, laying less than 5. This is mostly Western Conference teams, of course. They're 5-1 to the over. Game still only averaged 235 points though, which is still below the total tonight. Let's see real quick how the Cavs do. Which I feel like is so difficult because they've had so many injuries this season. So Cavs are this season, they are just 1-1 straight up, 1-1 against the spread, 2-0 to the under when they're playing road games against non-conference opponents. Went under against the Rockets, went under against the Spurs. 2 good defensive teams. 2 teams that don't play. Well, the Spurs do play super fast. This tells me I like under. Yeah, I think I'm right with under, but we shall see. What's up, Adam? Appreciate you for tapping in. Adam says Rudy over his boards. He's a good rebounding matchup. And head-to-head, I believe, rebounding at a very high rate. You like it, Chris? Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier this morning when I was working out. Rudy Gobert, I didn't write it down, of course, because I was working out. But yeah, Rudy Gobert he should be able to dominate the boards. Jared Allen's not a bad rebounder, but the Cavs give up a ton of offensive rebounds. And Minnesota's not a great offensive rebounding team, but I do think that Rudy should be able to get busy. He's been playing pretty well as well, so that makes sense. Mario says 59 people watching, 22 likes. Let's get 35 for Chris. All his work, man. Hit the like button. Appreciate that, Mario. What's up, Dave? Appreciate you for tapping in. Rich says I like Murray over his 9.5 points. Okay. All right, let's keep pushing. Mario mentioned it, but yeah, hit the like button for me if you can, man. It definitely helps out the show a ton. The algorithm, all that good stuff, valuable information being shared every day. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Let's keep going. All right, so next up, we got the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. I did bet this one, but I got a little bit better number. I did lay points in this spot with the Miami Heat. So injury report real quick. Miami has Jaime Jaquez Jr. listed as questionable. He's the only person on the report. And then Chicago has Kobe White listed as questionable. He did not play yesterday. Buzelis did play yesterday, so it's going to be interesting to see if Buzelis plays today. And then Jalen Smith is also listed as questionable. Josh Giddey continues to be out, at least right now. They can submit the injury report late. And Zach Collins also out on the injury report as well. So a couple things here. First thing I looked at was the Bulls as a home dog. And this is the spot where you've been burning money if you bet the Bulls as a home dog this season. They religiously covered the number every single time. 6-3 straight up, 7-2 against the spread. So Chris, how can you fade them in this spot? So I look at the Bulls as a home dog, take that same trend and I add that they're unrested. and they are. I saw 0-3 yesterday. For some reason, I don't see that right now. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not right. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So I started with the first trend of Bulls being home dogs, and they typically cover. But then I look at the Bulls when they're home and they're unrested, and they're 0-3 against the number. They lost to the Wizards in this spot outright. They lost to the Bucks in this spot outright, and they lost to the Hornets in this spot outright. So this is the Bulls at home, as a favorite, being unrested. I'm sorry, not as a favorite, but being unrested. Then I think about the Timberwolves on the Miami Heat on the opposite side. They're coming off a loss to the Timberwolves, so they should be a little motivated in the spot. And then the cherry on top was the fifth game in 7 nights. So two teams playing fifth game in 7 nights. The Bulls are the other team. Fifth and 7 nights with travel. They didn't cover against Detroit last night. And it's really just a big no Josh Giddey thing for me at this time right now. Anything, of course, can happen. The Bulls are one of those juggernaut type teams, but we got in yesterday at 6. It is up to 6.5. It is up to 7 now, and the total continues to drop down. And that's where I probably should have been at as well. I do see it dropping all the way to 238. The Bulls' offense last 5 games have been one of the worst in the NBA. Miami is a team that controls pace. They play fast, but they do get back on defense. The other thing I was looking into, and I was kicking myself for not playing under yesterday between Detroit and Chicago. It just dropped like 10 points when Cade got ruled out, but it still ended up going under because Miami really can't score the basketball. Their numbers, their metrics have really shifted a lot. So just real quick, I didn't write this down, but I wanted to share with you guys real quick. I was looking at Chicago and like on the season, how they like to get out and run. So on the season, the 9th in transition frequency, they typically get out and run. They like to play fast. 9th in transition frequency. Their last 5 games, however, they are 24th in transition frequency, 29th in points via transition. And the Miami Heat are not a team that is going to give up a lot of points in transition. Miami, of course, one of the better defenses in the league. But in transition, they do a really good job as well. They're 10th on the full season, and in their last 5 games, they're actually 13th. They give up the third fewest points per 100 possessions via transition as well. So this is a spot where Miami should be able to take care of business. As a road favorite, they've been a road favorite 3 times. They're 2-1 straight up and against the spread. Both games that they won, they did win by double digits. I think that they should be able to win this game by double digits as well. So that's my thought process. Unless Josh Giddey randomly pops up, it's a terrible spot in my opinion. Miami should be the spot, and I bet them last night. From a player prop perspective, I think Khalil Ware is the one that makes the most sense in this game. I didn't bet it yet because it's a little bit more work that I wanted to do, but I did write his name down yesterday. Lines weren't available. Khalil Ware, even with Tyler Hero coming back, and that's the other gripe, right? It's like Tyler Hero comes back. He's been messing up the chemistry. Miami lost it again with Tyler Hero back in the lineup. They have not done well with Tyler Hero so far this season. But when I was thinking about this yesterday, Khalil Ware points listed at 10.5. This Chicago team just bleeds points to the center position. They just can't stop anything at the rim. They allow the 5th most points in the paint. They are 25th in defensive rating. They give up the most points in the restricted area. And Isaiah Stewart had 31 points last night. 31 points for Isaiah Stewart, probably the most since high school. So Khalil Ware, somebody that I think when I was looking through this yesterday, he's the person that takes the most shots at the rim. 58% of his points come in the restricted area. He should be the guy that can score the basketball. 67% of his shots come within 10 feet of the rim. And I just told you guys how bad they were. So Khalil Ware, coming off a game where he only got 7, battling down there against Rudy Gobert. He is over in 2 of his last 3 games. I like Khalil Ware points in this spot. We also just saw Kata dominate this matchup. Kata had a double-double at halftime in one of the most recent games. So Khalil Ware makes a ton of sense in my opinion. Wendell Carter Jr. had 13 on 12.5 line. Bobby Portis had 17 on 11.5 line. Onyeka Okongwu had 23 on the 17.5 line. Noah Clowney had 20 on the 14.5 line. Wendell Carter Jr. again with 17 on the 12.5 line. So yeah, this one made a ton of sense. I didn't bet it yet though, but Khalil Ware for me makes a ton of sense, and I like under 2. We just saw Miami play against New Orleans. Very similar team, struggling to score the basketball. That likes to play fast. Fits the tempo, the protocol for a comp, right? A comparable, which is to the Chicago Bulls, and I think we see the same thing in this spot. So that's my thought process there. Appreciate you, Rich. Lil Town says, like Mitchell assist against this soft defense. I could see that. I could definitely see that. It says Rich says, I like how many Heckes over his 3.5 boards. Didn't know he was Q. Bulls team total under makes a ton of sense. How about Norman Powell for 25 points? Bounce back spot, shooting night against the head-to-head matchup. Good hit rate. Yeah, I think so. Dom says, was on Bulls team total under, and now I'm scared today because everybody likes it tonight. Yeah, I can understand that, but I think Miami. So I will say this: when I was looking into the game, I didn't add this to the write-up, but if there is a thing that you don't like for Miami, and this is kind of head-scratching, they're not a good team protecting the rim recently. On the full season, the Chicago team is a team that likes to get downhill. They like to get downhill, penetrate. They take a lot of shots at the rim because they like to break you down, share the wealth. And then, somebody goes to the rim, either kicks it out to a three-point shooter or tries to attack the rim. So on the season, Chicago does rank second in rim frequency. Last 5 games, they are last 2 weeks, they are second in rim frequency as well. So pretty consistent. For whatever reason, Miami, even with getting Khalil Ware in the lineup with Bam Adebayo, they are on the full season 14th in opponent rim frequency and 15th in opponent rim accuracy, about middle of the pack. Last 5 games, 24th in opponent rim frequency and 21st at protecting the rim. So that's the one gripe. I just think, with Chicago being in the situational spot that they're in, hopefully they lay an egg in this spot. But that was the gripe there, Doms, with taking Chicago team total under. I still think it goes under though. Rich agrees with the Khalil Ware look. What's up? B Hop says this is the heat spot, but I can't lay 7 with them. Hopefully they cover the 6 because that's what I bet last night. Donovan Mitchell over his points for Dave. Should get a 30 piece. Okay. Yeah, definitely should be a good Khalil Ware type of game. Twan says Khalil Ware and Bam for a double-double. Bam for 3 assists for J-Man. Bam under his points in 9 straight games. Bam might be thinking about Asia, man. All right, let's get to the last game, which is Dallas and Utah. So line open. I've been on here for way too long. Dallas opened laying 5 yesterday, 5.5, and that game went to overtime last night with Utah and Indiana and OKC, of course, and that line moved from to 7.5. So this is a gross game. You gotta look at the injury report. I'll tell you why it's gross in a second. Look at the injury report. Dallas has Brandon Williams listed as questionable. PJ Washington listed as doubtful. Kyrie Irving, of course, is out. Utah will submit the injury report late. Their starters did play heavy minutes yesterday. I think when I was looking at it in the fourth quarter before overtime, Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen both were already north of 30 minutes. They were trying to win that game last night. And Nurkic, I think, also played big minutes. I think he fouled out late, but he played big minutes as well. So Utah will have some guys added to the injury report, I think, absolutely, in this spot. Then you start looking into the matchup, right? We talked about Dallas in their last game against Sacramento not being able to lay points with them because it's their second straight road game, but they're also 4-12 straight up on the road, just 5-11 against the number. Plus they're 3-7 against the spread on the road in their last 10 games. They finally won a game against the Kings, still didn't cover the spread. And Utah has been good at home. We know 12-7 against the spread at home. It is their first game back home after a 4-game road trip. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I got a 5.5 last night when the game went to overtime. I couldn't send it out because the number moved too much. Like it was just like as soon as it went to overtime, it popped. I was like, Dallas should be able to win this game, cover the spread. It was really just based on Utah, playing, going into overtime, it being their first game back home. And not that, like I said, not that Dallas is great by any stretch of the imagination, potentially being without PJ Washington in this game as well. Like, it's not for the faint of heart to lay points on the road with Dallas, but I do think they can win the game. As far as the total goes, like Utah is a team that goes over at home. Dallas is a team that can't score the basketball at all. So it kind of makes me think a Utah team total under, even though they have been really, really good when they're playing unrested. They're actually 5-0. I'm sorry. Utah sticking to as far as the total goes, which why I think is gross. Dallas could potentially be without PJ Washington, which is a lot of offense. But we'll see how fast Utah wants to play on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel. I wrote in my notes Dallas team total over. Jazz are 5-0 to the over when they're playing unrested, allowing 126 points per game. They're perfect 3-0 to the over if they are at home playing unrested, allowing 130 points per game. And then their only home game when they were playing unrested, where they had to travel from a previous road game back home, they are 1-0 to the over, and that game was against Memphis. They gave up 137 points in that game. So while Dallas typically doesn't score the basketball, I mean, you're not gonna find a better matchup here. Like Anthony Davis should be able to get busy on the boards, down low in the paint. Daniel Gafford should be able to play well. We just saw like Chet had a really big game last night. Cooper Flagg, I think, gave him 20, 25 points the last time that they played. He's in a primetime matchup spot. Max Christie's been able to knock down 3-point shots, so maybe looking at his threes. Yeah, that's the way. I think Dallas wins. I don't know if they're gonna cover 8, but I think Utah does run out of gas. This would be a spot that I would probably fade them here. I'm not laying 7.5 though, which is why I got the 5.5. But like I said, it's nothing official here. Nothing official here. This game is not televised, Rich. Not televised here. And I kind of feel like Utah could run out of gas, which is why I don't like the over as much. I typically like Utah overs, but not Utah team total over. Not in my opinion. Let's see. What else are you guys saying here? Taylor says where rebounds at 9, over in 12 of his 14 games versus teams that rank 15th or worse in rebounds allowed. Played the juice at -155. I like it. I like it. Maybe it's points plus rebounds, Taylor. I like both. What's up, PZ? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. Dallas was horrible against Sacramento, throwing up bricks, but I can only look Dallas. Yeah, I agree with that, Brian. I do. It's an ugly one, man. It's not for the faint of heart at all. Frankie says, I know no one likes unders, but I was looking at some. Me too, Frankie. I actually wrote down in my notes yesterday. I'm gonna tell you guys what I wrote. I wrote matter of fact, let's go straight into the recap. We don't got any questions. It's only 4 games today. So straight into the recap, and I'll update this now. This number moved while we were doing the show. I think you still can get a 230. Looks like 240 is still available, based on what I'm seeing on BetMGM specifically. But yeah, this Miami Chicago under is one that I like. The Cleveland, and I mean, it's no, like, so if you're new to sports betting, right, it's no reason to take this under now. When I wrote down Cleveland, Minnesota yesterday, I wrote down under 238.5. It's all the way up to 240.5. So let it keep going up. Like, there's no reason to pull the trigger early. Indiana, Charlotte, I wrote under 233.5. That number's dropped down to 231.5, it looks like, but that's something else that I like. Like I said, the only reason I didn't play that one is because of Brandon Miller. Want to see what happens with his injury status, but under 231.5 on under 231.5 on FanDuel, it looks like it's the best number that you can get there. But yeah, I do think that games go under today as well, Frankie. I absolutely agree. Let's see. All right, and that's it. What I did bet, this Chicago game, this Miami game, was the only thing that I did bet, but I do like the under as well. But yeah, like I said, I got a better number. So we shall see, man. And like I said, I'm not putting Dallas up here. I did get a 5.5 last night, but the number is long gone now. So yeah, that's the show for today, man. The Khalil Ware look is probably my favorite player prop. The Aaron Nesmith threes is also, I think, a really good look as well. Potentially running that back. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. We'll be back tomorrow. Big slate tomorrow again. And yeah, I'll see you guys then, man. Best of luck. Resources are linked in the description of the video, as they always are, man. If you are somebody trying to, get better with your sports betting, check these out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Enjoy your Thursday. I'm out.